So last week I made a reaction video to Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender series, and this is what I had to say. Everything I click on, good. It looks good. So they had me in the first half. What's up, you guys? So there's been a lot of controversy with the Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender adaptation. I just want to start this video by saying that you can still be optimistic about something and you can be excited about it, but you can still be cautious about it. Cause man, I was optimistic and excited for The Last Airbender, but look what they did to us.
My name is Ang.
And in today's video, I want to talk about some of the concerns and just some of the things that I'm just a little bit nervous about with this adaptation. So you guys probably know by now that they're changing some of Sokka's story elements in the first season. So in the first season, Sokka is sexist. You know, he's very misogynistic and he has a very closed mind. Sokka is very unlikable in the beginning of Avatar. He's very closed-minded. He's not open to bending. He doesn't, believe in fortune telling. He's very analytical and logical, which is, a good trait to have. He thinks that men are better at certain things, as war and fighting, and women should be staying in the house, sewing and cooking and cleaning and things like that. Well, as we see in the series, there are many strong women that are stronger than Sokka. First, we see the Kyoshi warriors, we see Toph, we see Katara, we see June. So there's a whole bunch of women inside Avatar that show you how strong women are and why Sokka is wrong. And they're saying that they're removing this in the Netflix series because this is a live adaptation. There were some iffy things and we had to tone down the sexism. See, if they're gonna tone it down, that's one thing. But if they remove it completely, it is removing a part of Sokka's character growth. It's how he grew up. He grew up in a society where the men were the strong ones and they were the ones who went out and fought. And this is what led Sokka to believe this. And we have people in real life who are cool people, but they may have just certain things that you're like, all right, you gotta work on that. And I say that there's controversy because some people will be like, oh, you just need to be optimistic and just wait for the show to come out, which is understandable. It's not good to judge something before you've actually experienced it for yourself. It's not to say that we can't be concerned. I love Spider-Man and I was excited for Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I was also concerned that Sony was putting too much information in the trailers, and even the way that they told the story, there were some things that just didn't make sense or just weren't good. Removing Sokka's sexism, it removes an aspect of why we like him, because he is able to open his mind, he's able to grow. It's not just his insecurity and him wanting to be a leader, that's not his only flaw or his only thing that he has to work through. Sokka has a few things to work through. And I'm not just saying to have sexism in a show just for the sake of sexism, but it is kind of weird that the creators are gonna show a genocide. They're gonna show a genocide of the air nomads. They said that they wanted to show different aspects of the show that we didn't see in the series. So they're gonna be showing Zuko get his face burnt off. They're gonna be showing Zuko actually getting hit with the fire by his fire lord. by his father lord. The thing that I think is weird about that, so sexism is too much and a little bit iffy for the show, but the genocide of a whole nation is okay. So violence is okay, but some sexism that gets resolved within the first few chapters is not okay. Here's what the actor that plays Aang had to say about it. I think the Airbender genocide is really cool. Well, not cool like that. Yeah, my whole family's dead, of course. It's not a good thing, but watching it is gonna be sick. Bro, seriously? So watching a genocide is gonna be sick, but having our character Sokka be a little bit sexist, but then learn that that is not the right thing to do, and that's not okay. I know he didn't say that, but that's what the series director, series creator is saying about it. Another weird thing is that they were saying they want it to be like Game of Thrones. They want it to be having a more adult theme. Isn't people having flaws like sexism an adult theme? People getting over their issues and things like that. Another thing that they're changing is that they're bringing Azula into season 1 and the Fire Lord into season 1. You guys, there's a way that the Avatar told the story, which is it built up these people. They said that the Fire Lord is not going to be too much in the show and that they're going to be just showing hints at him, but that's what they already did in the first season. We saw hints of Ozai and we were just like, oh man, this guy means business, this guy is scary. The way that Zuko is acting and reacting, especially when we get to the North Pole at the end, when this guy is running through the snow trying to catch Aang, getting sick, getting blown up, that's when he talked to us about Azula. He said, my father said he said that my sister was born lucky. He said that I was lucky to be born. That gave us everything that we needed to know about Azula. We knew that she was probably better than him. We knew that she was more highly favored than him. He had a scar on his face. We already knew a lot about the Fire Lord. We didn't need to see him necessarily. Some of these scenes, like they said, would be cool to see act it out, actually see Zuko get scarred. But I don't really need Azula's backstory in season 1, because even in Avatar: The Last Airbender, they showed that in season 3. If they do a little flashback here and there, that's fine, but to have her as an actual character in the first season, like, I don't want to see her chasing Aang in the first season. Nah, she should be in the back seat, because she's royalty. She's not banished. She doesn't need to prove anything to her father, because he already looks at her as that she's born lucky. She's already top tier. She has blue flames. But Zuko, we already know he's the lesser one of the two in Ozai's eyes. Zuko has something to prove. Zuko should take the focus in season 1, because when we see Azula in season 2, it shows a lot about Zuko's character. He was so eager. He was so happy that his sister came and was coming to pretend like, brother, come join me. Father wants you back. And then Iroh, his uncle, had to tell him, like, no, Zuko, you got to pay attention. You got to realize that not everybody's on your side. But if we see Azula in season 1, I feel like it's going to throw off that dynamic. And I know that, like they said, this is a remix. This is not an actual cover of the adaptation. If you're going to make this series based off of the original, which was a lot of fans think is basically perfect, which they really love, and we've already been burned in the past by the last movie, you would think that they would take into consideration not to change certain aspects of the character, because we love the characters. Like, the story is good, but it's the way that the characters behave in the story. So another aspect that they're changing, apparently, is the way that Aang realizes his vision. They were saying that Aang, we essentially gave him this vision of what's going to happen, and he says, I have to get to the Northern Water Tribe to stop this from happening. This gives him a much more narrative compulsion going forward. A much more narrative compulsion? Okay. As opposed to, let's make a detour to ride Elephant Koi. That type of thing. So that's something, again, that's part of the process of going from a Nickelodeon cartoon to a Netflix serialized drama. Something I liked about the One Piece series is the way that they treated Luffy. Luffy is still a goofball. He's just like, I want to be king of the pirates. Yes, I want to be king of the pirates. Like, and that's all he says, and he's very goofy. It is for adults. I'm an adult and I could watch it. My mom watched the whole thing, and she's older than me, obviously. She birthed me, and she enjoyed the series thoroughly. She watched Game of Thrones too. Aang is a 12-year-old boy that ran away from his responsibilities. Of course, he's gonna want to have fun. He's not even sure what is all happening in the world right now. He doesn't have the same perspective as Sokka and Katara. That's what was good about the show, because when Sokka and Katara met Aang, they're like, what are you talking about? The Fire Nation is taking over. And Aang's like, what are you talking about? The Fire Nation are good guys. You see Aang's progression as he realizes, dang, this world is really messed up, and I have to step up. The thing that was good about the show is that Aang was just a 12-year-old boy. He just wanted to have fun. That's why he said, let's go penguin sledding. Let's go ride the Elephant Koi. Along those journeys, as he was moving through, then he saw the vision with Roku. He knew that he had to get to the solstice and talk to Roku. Then Roku told him that the comet was coming. Then that's what propelled him to having to go ahead and learn all the bendings within 1 year. They're changing the timeline too. They said they're gonna be a time skip, which I understand, because people grow up. You know, nobody stays the same age. You can't just have them be the same age for the duration of the series, because, you know, puberty and stuff. It makes sense. Aang already had all the motivation. The comet, the Fire Nation is trying to take over the world. You know, he has to learn bending within a certain amount of time. Like, these are all key points that he realizes, and that he even has internal battles with. You know, when he was at the Day of Black Sun, when he was realizing he had to actually fight the Fire Lord, or even at the end of the series when he had to realize he may have to kill the Fire Lord. Those aspects are the things that make that it could have made it even darker. You know what I'm saying? You could have dived deep more into those aspects. You didn't have to go ahead and make it seem like he has a vision. Aang doesn't need a vision to go to the Northern Water Tribe. He knows he needs to go there because he needs to find a waterbending master. So does Katara. Okay, now this one, I am not sure if this is true, but I just found out about it. But it says that Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender series will remove the war embossing say. I wanted to capture the true beauty of the town and its culture without the audience having to experience the confusion of the rug being ripped underneath their feet. It's gaslighting, said the showrunner Albert Kim via IGN. See, now I don't know if this is actually accurate. You guys can vet me after the video, but what? What? There's no war embossing say? Like, y'all are really pulling the Jew D on the actual show? Now, this is true. I mean, we're not even in season 2 yet, so I don't know if that's what I'm saying. I don't know if this leak is actually real. But if this is true, this is why I don't get excited. You know, I'm very optimistic, but I'm also very realistic. I try to just take things as they come, and I'm still not prejudging. I have no idea. I'm going to watch the show. It could be a great story. They could adapt it to where it makes a lot of sense. But it's seeming like this is why the creators of the show left. Seems why the creators of the show had different creative differences. They're like, you ain't gonna put my name on that. They already made a good story. Just go off of the blueprint. I'm gonna tell you guys 3 stories that are really good that got adapted into it wasn't live action. These 2 aren't live action. Oh, actually one is. So the Mario Brother movie, that was really good. The Sonic movie, that's actually pretty good. And an anime that they made into a live action that's actually pretty good is Parasite the Maxim. If you guys never seen Parasite the Maxim, it's like an alien story, but it's an animated show and they actually made it into a live action. If you've never seen it, I think it's one of the best live action adaptations of, you know, anything ever. Like, it's and besides One Piece is also pretty good too, but Parasite the Maxim really adapts it really well. The fact that this is just a kid's show doesn't mean you have to change certain aspects to make it make more sense to adults. Like, we get it. Like, he's a kid. Aang is a kid and he's gonna go through these different trials and tribulations and he has to grow up. That's one of his character developments throughout the show, is that Aang is a pacifist. Aang doesn't want to fight. Aang wants to just chill. Aang just wants to have fun. Aang just wants to adventure. But he realizes that he is the Avatar, and it's up to him to save the world, just like Katara said in the intro. So my goal in this video is not to spread negativity. I'm just basically spreading my concerns, which are valid. You know, I'm a fan of the show. I do like the original. I want to see this new adaptation, but I want it to be a good story. I want it to be cohesive. I want it to make sense. Like, if I never watched that other series at all, I still want to be able to enjoy this on its own. One Piece, you don't even have to really watch One Piece to appreciate the One Piece show. You know, if you do watch One Piece show, then yeah, you'll have a little bit more details and you'll understand some of the characters' motives a little bit better, just because there's like 1,000 episodes. Avatar: The Last Airbender is such a timeless series, and when M. Night Shyamalan made that movie, it hurt a lot of us. I don't think it's fair that people be like, it's just a fictional show, you could just not watch it. You know, it shouldn't affect how you enjoy the original. When new people watch it and they be like, have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? They're like, oh yeah, that's my favorite series. And they're talking about this new Avatar: The Last Airbender. And then you watch it and you be like, oh, this is not like it at all. Just like when people read the book and then they watch the movie. I mean, it's okay to have differences in the way that you tell the stories, because when you write a book and then you put it into a movie, there's gonna have to be some changes that happen in the script and the way the story goes. But you still want to hit the key points of the show and whatever it may be. So stay tuned to my channel and you'll see all the different Avatar: The Last Airbender reaction videos I'm going to be doing. So February 22nd, I'll be there. Like and subscribe if you like what I'm talking about here. Comment and let me know your guys' opinion on it. Am I overreacting? Am I just jumping the gun? Are people just, you know, not giving the show a chance? Or are these valid concerns that should be addressed and that are okay to be talked about, because it's okay, because it's just part of the series, it's part of the show, and people are fans and they're allowed to have opinions. Anyways, this is your boy son Yonatan, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.